Well, hello, good afternoon, everyone, and you're very, very welcome to this first in the Autumn Masterclass series from the National Concert Hall. We're delighted you can join us, and we hope to have an interesting, entertaining, and inspiring afternoon of terrific piano music for you today. We very much enjoyed our Summer Masterclass series, and we're delighted to kick off our Autumn series with none other than the wonderful Mr. Barry Douglas. So, Barry, thank you so much for being with us today.
Pleasure, Nigel. Great to be here.
So Barry has established a major international career since winning the gold medal at the 1986 Tchaikovsky International Piano Competition in Moscow. He is the artistic director of Camerata Ireland and the Clan de Boyne Festival. He continues to celebrate his Irish heritage whilst also maintaining a busy international touring schedule. Recent highlights include performances at BBC Proms in the Park with the Ulster Orchestra, a UK tour with the Russian State Symphony Orchestra, and appearances with Orchestre d'Auvergne, Barcelona Symphony, Bogota Philharmonic, and Vancouver Symphony Orchestras. Barry is an exclusive Chandos recording artist, and his latest release is the third volume of his Schubert Works for Solo Piano. He received the Order of the British Empire, OBE, in the 2002 New Year's Honours List for services to music. Barry, always a great friend of the National Concert Hall. Thank you for joining us today, and we very much appreciate you taking part in delivering this masterclass. For those of you joining us, the format will be, we have 3 participants that are going to each receive a masterclass of approximately 40 minutes. We will have the first 2 participants, and then we'll take a very short break, just a couple of minutes, let people stretch their legs, get a breath of air, and then we will proceed with our third participant. At the end of the masterclass at approximately 4:30 p.m, we'll have a Q&A session with both our participants and questions from the public. So please do enter your questions on our Facebook or YouTube channels, and we will relay them to Barry at the end of the masterclass at approximately 4:30. As I said, we have 3 participants. The first of these is Luke Lally Maguire, and Luke recently completed the Bachelor of Music degree in TU Dublin Conservatory, where he graduated with first-class honours. Luke is an experienced performer and a multiple prize winner in major national competitions such as Feshkill and Sligo Feshkill. He also has a keen interest in collaborative piano performance and is in demand as an accompanist, regularly performing in concerts and recitals with other musicians. Luke, very nice of you to join us, and we're delighted to have you with us today. That's my part of the session done for the moment. So Barry, if it's okay, I will leave you and Luke to get on with the session, and we will see you shortly once that has concluded.
Thank you. Hi Luke, how are you doing?
How are you? All right.
Looking forward to hearing you again.
Right, thanks. Right.
So you're playing some Haydn, I guess?
Yeah. the variations of left hand, yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Very good. Technically and musically beautiful. Well done. Fantastic.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot.
Right.
It's such a tough piece because it is, in a sense, it's so symmetrical. I mean, apart from kind of cadenza stuff there, it's very symmetrical and can sound often so kind of square. And it's not a criticism at all of the piece or of Haydn, or certainly not of you. It's just a question that it's like the notes are hung on a line, and you have to make, what we have to do as performers is have the wind coming from different directions so that we see them in different lights, and even see it from sun up to sundown. We have to make the hanging notes sparkle and then go dull, and because it's all written here, it's absolutely incredible music, and so mesmerizing and hypnotic, that we have to find a way of looking for, rather which Beethoven did, you know, who was, of course, was taught by Haydn, and in his early works, you see already these flashes of brilliance. And we should look, Haydn was so original for his time. I mean, we all talk about Mozart, but I always think Haydn has a bit of a, not a bad press, but he hasn't had enough credit, you know, for his wonderful string quartets and symphonies and piano music. We have to find all the genius moments in this, and that's what brings it alive. I mean, you have the poise and the pacing that you have at the end, especially, you know, from when he finishes the variations and goes into this long cadenza. It's almost like Bach, like a chromatic fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah, and you placed the notes beautifully, and how you finished as well. And in the pause, just before the end of the last page, before the forte, you waited just the right amount of time, and you had us all hanging on. You know, you kept the tension even in the rest, which is very tough to do, because it can sound, you know, especially, you know, in this electronic medium we're working in now, that it can sound a little awful flat.
Yeah.
But we were with you in beside your piano with you the whole time. Really, well done.
Thank you.
What I would like to say, just in that regard of looking for, what's brilliant is to look for the asymmetry in a piece that is quite, you know, seems on the surface quite straightforward, but let's look at the things where we can make things a little, we can shift them a little bit, whether it's a little bit of tempo change, slightly, you know, broader, or a bit more urgency, or it's dynamics. I mean, he's very careful about dynamics, but we still have a lot of leeway to broaden it and make it a little bit more orchestral. Use different instruments from the orchestra. Suggest, allude to different instruments from the orchestra. So you can decide if it starts with like a string quartet and a flute, or and then suddenly the brass come in, and all sorts of things, and make. That's the great thing about us as pianists. We can make a whole orchestra on this keyboard of 88 notes. It's so exciting. So the other thing is, make a difference between the minor, you know, which is the, and then the major. Find a color which suggests not happy, but positive major, a breath of air, you know, something to, not to cheer us up, but, you know, to make us smile a little bit. And then he goes back to this again every time, which has got a slightly heavy, ponderous, pessimistic, depressing, in a very small D. So, and then maybe that has a little bit more urgency. So it's not that you're changing the tempo, but try to find that kind of nuance between the minor and the major, because it's actually, this is a set of variations on two themes, so it's a double variation, and so it's great if you can bring that out. Just I know it's tough because it depends on our technology and everything, and internet connection and everything, but give me just the first kind of half of the first theme. and try to find those different colors and the crescendo, the forte and the tenuto and everything, which almost like it should sound. It's like someone once said to me, forte is not louder than piano, or piano's not softer than forte. It's just, it's further away or nearer you. It's still that kind of burning sound. So try to make a sound that burns into us, this horrible, this sad music. Is it a kind of a mini requiem to his friend that died? We don't know. So that feeling of inevitability, you know, light pesanti, if that's possible, to be light and heavy at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you. You know, what you could do is in this theme in the right hand when it starts, the danger is, I'm not saying you did this, but the danger is it can sound too happy.
Yes. Yeah. Party.
It
Yeah.
should have it should have a certain gravitas, even though it's up here. So it's not, you know what I mean? You didn't play it like that, but it's the short note has a little bit more length and depth to it, more profound sound. So try to pretend that it's really down here, but it's here.
Okay.
Because it's so high up in the piano, it can sound a little bit cheerful.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You in the third bar when it gets to the forte, that's how you should play all of them. Obviously softer. Where you lengthened it, you did a small allargando, you broadened it. Try to keep that as if not, you know, and try not to put an accent. If you put an accent, it makes it too happy. But it's
It actually was a bit happy that time. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
no, that was much better.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah. It wasn't too much on the third C, no?
No, the drama is in that small semiquaver. That short note. That's where the drama is, not in the long notes.
Okay.
To go on in a second, but when the left hand has the theme, you did it perfectly. The first one was a little bit happy. It's the wrong word, but then after that, it was brilliant.
Yes.
Try to have that same spirit on the repeated C's.
Yeah.
Go from the beginning again, and
Sure.
when you get to the tenuto,
Yeah.
let's really widen this out. It doesn't have to be absolutely, because before it's, but here it is. It's a breathing out, because we have to, music breathes in and then you have to breathe out, and that's a breathing out there in the forte.
Okay.
Okay, last time. and we go on.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm just saying, Luke,
Yeah.
when you get to the major, it sounded like, I don't know, maybe it was the internet or something. It sounded suddenly quite fast.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you
More
meant
kind
to,
of forward moving than fast. You were
if you
saying.
can imagine a violinist, how they would play this, maybe they start up bow because of the crescendo, and they use the whole bow for this one bar. We have to do that on the piano also.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit more pedal from time to time.
Okay.
Not to make it blurred, it still has to be classical, but a little bit more pedal for colour.
Yes. Okay.
Just try from the major.
Sure.
One second.
Yeah.
Can you give a little bit more weight in this variation?
Yeah.
It's like almost like a pleading. It could be a violinist all up bows or a beautiful soprano. We have to hit that D flat is full of pain. So that. Then legato. And then this, sorry, I didn't mean to slow down there. Diminuendo, getting softer, and so the next bit is not starting again. It's the culmination of the first phrase. So be careful that it doesn't sound, you know.
Okay.
I'm exaggerating. You didn't play it like that. Try to weave it in and out. So the right hand goes down, and now the left hand goes up. So it's coming. You're spotlighting it from different parts of the stage, if you know what I mean. Yeah. From the beginning of that,
Sure.
the top of the page.
Yeah, it didn't quite connect. Yeah.
No, the first couple of bars were great. It's the semiquaver rest, second rest, third rest. The third rest is not the same length, because if you think if you think like a singer, to get to that top note, they'd have to take an extra special breath.
Yes.
And make sure that it's placed right. And so we have to emulate the voice and breathing. So make sure you breathe that top F.
Yeah.
Same place. Same place.
Sure.
That's wonderful. Well done. Just be careful when you get, I don't know if you're in the same edition, it's the top of the next page. Make sure that the second note, bop, bop, is lighter.
Yes.
It sounded a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
make sure it's- And then when you get to here, once the chord is out of the way, pedal each group rather than hold on.
Okay.
So it's
Yes.
a little bit more brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will I take it from?
Yeah, just before that.
Just,
Maybe here.
oh yeah. Sure.
Very good. And enjoy the middle voice there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Not loud, but a little bit more of a stress on that longer note. It's very beautiful.
Okay.
Okay. Next one. Next F major.
Sure. Sorry, totally.
Just be careful here.
Mm.
Be careful that the second chord is not louder because it's going down. sounded. Yeah. That's the way the phrase is winding down.
Yes. Okay.
Try that.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Look, it's not clear if you wanted it staccato or detached or legato, all of these things. Or, but I don't think he meant it totally staccato.
Yes.
To
No.
me,
No. Yeah.
it's more of a it's a kind of a corner is being turned, but it's not bop bop bop. It's not bop 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 bop. It's bop 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 bop. Yeah. Maybe not too short. Just go from the second part.
Okay.
Maybe not too much on the left hand. What I'd love to hear is a little bit more of the brilliance on the top, on the little finger of the right hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's easy. Next one, F major.
Sure.
The right hand is growing and the left hand is getting lighter. It's not.
Okay.
And the right hand's the opposite. Think of it like a little, like bassoon, bop, 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 bop. But it lightens a little bit towards the end.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
you to play for us this the great the dramatic moment just after in the next page, the top of the next page.
Sure. Oh yes, yeah.
And that's the same thing. It starts a little more and it,
Okay.
it's like diminuendo.
Yeah. Okay.
Just that one thing, look.
Yeah.
I would make the last one the most.
Yeah.
It sounded a little bit less than that. We're running out of time. Can you play just this one to the end?
Sure. Sure.
Beautiful, Luke. You're so musical. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. I really enjoyed
No,
that.
thanks so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Hope to
Thanks.
see you. Hope to see you in Dublin soon.
You will, I'm sure. Yeah. Hopefully. All right. Thanks, Barry. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Luke. Lovely playing. We'll see you in a little bit. And Barry, thank you for your insight with Luke. So we will move on to our second participants, and that is our second participant is Ella Nagy. And Ella is in her final year of the Bachelor's in Music Performance degree at the Royal Irish Academy of Music, and she's a student of Professor Lance Coburn. Ella particularly loves 20th and 21st century music, and she also enjoys playing chamber music of all genres. So Ella, you're very, very welcome. We hope you enjoyed the masterclass with Barry. And again, Barry, I'll leave you to it. Just to remind folks that if you have any questions, we will be having a Q&A session at approximately 4:30 towards the end of this masterclass. And also after Ella, we will take a very short break, just about 3 minutes, and then we'll be with you straight after with our final participant. Barry, Ella, I'll leave you to it. Enjoy the session.
Thank you. Hi, Barry.
How are you, Ella? How are you doing, Ella?
That's my Siri being activated. I hope she won't talk to me. Hello, Barry, and hello to everyone watching as well. Today I would love to play Kapustin's Variations Opus 41, and this is based on the theme of Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, the opening line that the bassoon plays.
This seems much more fun than the opening of the Rite of Spring.
I know.
Great, I love it. Looking forward, I love this composer.
Oh, me too. He's my favorite.
I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Incredible, because I mean, I read about him that while he was a very good jazz pianist, he didn't consider himself a jazz pianist. He wanted to be first and foremost a composer, but he was obviously heavily influenced by the jazz idiom, and has turned it into a classical with a small c piece of music, and it's full of life and full of color. And I mean, I remember a long time ago hearing Oscar Peterson in the Royal Festival Hall in London, and when you see somebody, you know, and they're improvising, and you're just held by the amazing pianism and imagination, and he's encapsulated this, and you have played it brilliantly. I mean, it's not anything that I've ever played, and I would never attempt to play it in front of you, but it's really, really something beautiful. And I love the slow section, because it comes and then it's like he's saying, well, actually, if you remember, this is the theme from Rite of Spring, and we hear it in all its beauty, and makes this beautiful chorale. It's kind of quasi-chorale. I love it. I don't really have anything much to say, except I'd love to hear, and it could be, again, it could be the internet connection and technology. I'd love to hear a little bit more of the contrasts and the accents, and then the other notes, of course, are very important, but he's very clear about what notes have to be accented, and you're doing it wonderfully. Wonder could we exaggerate that even more, to make it sparkle and surprise us. I have to say to anybody who's watching, this piece is very tough to follow when Ella's playing it. It's going so fast. I'm whipping it like this all the time to follow. Really, really fantastic. Tell me, at the beginning, did you repeat the first bit?
Something happened that never happened before. The first page is probably the easiest page, and something slipped. So I did repeat it actually.
Because I think it really works, and I was looking for the repeat mark and I didn't see it.
Yeah, you weren't sure where it is. Yeah, I improvised a little.
Yeah, no, I have no problem at all with that. So that was just one thing, the contrasts. Also, there are moments, you know what is, I think, what I would say is, if there are, because it's also irregular, if there is something which is regular, I think you kind of should downplay that a little bit more. I'll tell you where it is especially. Now, you sent me this, so I guess you have the same page, the page numbers, yeah?
Yes, exactly. It's my version that I sent over.
This is page 6.
6. Okay, sure.
It's the dotted rhythms on
Yes.
the 3rd, 4th, 5th line on the next page. I don't want to hear the A flat so much, because all of this, I want to hear this a little bit more. Now, it could be just the microphone is picking up the lower notes a little bit more than it should, but it's those things. And there was another page with lots of C's. Yes, it's when it goes to 3/4, bottom of page 9.
Page 9. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
A little less of the repeated C's and more of the chord at the end of each bar, because then it's acting against what you're doing in the right hand, and so it's even more exciting, I would think.
Yeah.
Can you just play that from that 3/4 in page 9, and you have marked the chords. If we can hear those harmonies even more, and less of the C's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think I should pedal it, or because if I pedal it, no, I don't like that.
pedaling that third beat, or especially the quaver C to the third beat, would help just a light pedal, because it's so high up here, it's not going to make it mushy or anything. It'll still, and it would make that very nice and warm. So with the pedal, it'll sound, but faster, you know? Try and see what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that really works because it jumps out at you.
Yeah.
We can hear the bottom notes no problem. We can hear the bottom, the low C's and then the low F's and E naturals later on. That's not a problem. Great. So let's go further back. There was something. Yeah, it's in this first section, and a good example of it is in the middle of page 3, where it works up to a big forte.
Yes.
The dotted, it sounds sometimes a little bit dun, da, dun, da, dun, da. You put accent on the longer note, whereas it'd be great to have the shorter note a little bit, da, ba, 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 ba. Rather, if you can do that.
Okay. Is this
the bar on the third line, the last bar of the third line of page 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually then it's in tune with what you just did, that the left hand is kind of more important than the lower notes, and it will be with the dotted, with the semiquaver of the right hand. Da 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 da. It'll make it a little bit more swingy.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Should I try that again?
Yeah, go back a bit if you want. Maybe the top of the page or bottom of page 2.
Sure, I'll go from page 3.
Yeah, I like how you do that. This. All of those little notes. It's the legato, which I think I'd love to hear more legato in the middle of page 4 when you cross your right hand. It could even, you could relax the tempo a moment there, so it really makes it much more singing and lyrical.
Okay, sure.
I can just picture him. He's sitting, playing in this wonderful venue, and people are smoking cigars and drinking vodka, and he plays. It's very, very, very swingy, but very sensuous, and not ba-bum, ba-bum. This is different now, rather than. And then it goes back to accents, but try to make it a different color there for that section.
Okay.
That's another place where you just you're finished playing a second ago. This, it's that kind of dark, smoky sound that we need, and you've written here a little bit slower, so we can really enjoy that. All of those long notes where it's not accents anymore; it's more soberish a little bit. Yeah.
Sure.
Look for those moments. Look for those moments of more lyricism, and enjoy them.
Sorry, will I try that?
Yeah, you can go maybe top of page 7.
Sure.
Yeah, very, very good. You can use that same kind of color at bottom of 7, where it, rather than ba 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 ba, I know there's an accent on the top, but you've written in accents here, have you?
They're already written in. I just colored over them so that I don't miss them.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, but
But
a little bit more, softer, more lyrical. I didn't hear the A natural. I heard, and so the A natural, I didn't. It's so beautiful, that chord. In fact, when he doesn't write accents, that's the moment I think he's saying, enjoy all of these chords, and it's not the accent, ba 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 ba, it's ba 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 ba. And then, because in that bar, it's without accents. Then make the most of the bar where he hasn't written any accents, because I think he's done that for a reason.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Where will I go from?
Can you go from that bar and then go on?
Yeah. I'll try that again.
Beautiful. Just to be careful in that 3/4. This time it might be the microphone. All I heard was this. I didn't hear that, but it might be the technology. When you get to this larghetto, it should have a kind of an ebb and a flow. It suddenly has energy and then it relaxes, and again and then relaxes, and also in terms of dynamic. So when you start, it should be quite, not big, but open sound. There's a small burst of energy, and then it relaxes and slows down. Then it rushes ahead, and then it slows down. That's what I get from this. Just it's not too metrical. I think it needs a lot of rubato.
Okay.
A lot more rubato. Yeah.
And do you think rubato between the phrases? So. Drawn out?
I think it's more that the smaller notes, the shorter notes, they should be a little bit slower, and the longer notes you move it on a little bit.
Okay.
So the beginning is not. It's more. It has to have an elasticity, something where you're spotlighting these beautiful notes and the harmonies changing so quickly. We want to enjoy it, these beautiful changing harmonies. So point it out to us and say, "Will you hear this?"
Okay. Okay.
Okay. That's what I heard before. This is the top of page 13. Can you make this, it'd be like a huge string orchestra playing this with a huge crescendo, and it's more allargando. I only heard really the last chord. I mean, I heard it all, but I need to hear that the second half of that bar, those 4 quavers. There are moments where you just try and suspend a top note and then it sinks into the next bit. And you suspend it again and then it falls.
Right.
Believe me, we will all be eating out of your hand.
Right. Okay.
Maybe from the top, page 13, top of page 13.
Yeah, sure.
on this last page, second line.
Sure.
Can you make? You've written here, or Lance has written there, strong.
Yeah.
But I think what's great is to make that a little bit lighter, and then at the end of that line and the beginning of the third line, that's fortissimo, and then it's again mezzo forte and then fortissimo. Make those like outbursts.
So you know the way this comes twice? And then the second time it comes in the third line. Do you think that the first time should be less and then the second time more?
Yeah, it could be, but as long as those chordal bits are
Yeah.
much more like
Yeah.
an explosion.
Sure. Okay. And then should it go
Top
back?
of,
It should
Sorry?
go back after the chords?
yeah. Well, just for those two bits,
Yeah.
and then after that, of course, it's as you played it.
Okay. So this is it. So like that's more than. Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Do you know what? Do you know what it's like? It's like at the end of a. It's like at the end of a cartoon, or it's
Yeah.
like at the end of an opera. Where they have a thing called stretto, and it's rushing to the end. But there's also a bit. Ba 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 ba. It has to have those two elements of drama plus we're all happy, we're away home, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'm thinking of pots and pans. Da-da-da-da-da, and then da-da-da. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
And just there's a great moment where I think you can have. This is page 15, just before that, when after this fast section starts, the left hand. It can be a little bit more. It's kind of manic, and it's propelling itself towards the end, and so it's okay to play that because it's okay to play that very much more forte, because it'll propel the right hand even more. Bop, 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 bop. You just think it's trombone, bop, 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 and trumpets.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Should I try that?
Try that. Yeah, somewhere there on 15.
Yeah, sure. I'll try it again.
I like it a lot.
Thank you.
And you know what? At the double bar in page 15, you could start down there almost piano.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so it's suddenly very mysterious, and then it mounts up again and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Just to otherwise, it's all very. Sometimes you have to go and then open again. Can you try just page 15?
Yes. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it makes it really more exciting
Yeah.
because suddenly it's suddenly gone away. Kind of, it's gone around the corner somewhere.
Yeah, and
I like that.
it gives me a little bit of time, you know.
Yeah,
It's not so,
relax.
yeah, well,
Yeah, it's not so manic.
exactly.
Well, look, play the end or the last couple of pages just
Okay,
to play us out.
okay, sure. Can I go from the Presto on page 14?
Sure, sure.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Great.
Well done,
Thank
Emma.
you.
I so
Thank
enjoyed
you.
that. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ella. Terrific playing. What a wonderful piece of music. I really enjoyed that. And thank you again, Barry, for your insights and comments. As we said earlier, we're just going to take a very short break now. We will be gone for no more than 3 minutes. So if you're watching, please don't go anywhere other than to have a quick stretch of the legs. And we will be back very, very shortly with our final participant. And just a reminder that we will be having a Q&A session at approximately 4:30. So if you do have any questions for Barry, please do submit them via our YouTube and Facebook channels. And we'd be very happy to relay them to Barry at the end of the session. Thank you again, Ella. Thank you, Barry. And we will be back to you in just about 3 minutes. Well, hello everybody, and you're very welcome back to this afternoon's masterclass with wonderful Irish pianist Barry Douglas and three of our fine upcoming music students from around the country. Our third participant is David Vesey, and David is a 21-year-old pianist from Abilich. David is in the final year of the program at the CIT's Cork School of Music. He studies solo piano with Santa Ignace and Michael McKay, with frequent master classes with pianists such as Barry Douglas, Finian Collins, Philip Martin, Pascal Nemirovsky, and Therese Fay. David was the highest placed student in his year for the past year on his BMUS degree. He's also a strong traditional Irish musician and has achieved many successes at Black Hill, the member of Cultus National Folk Orchestra of Ireland, and was a past performer on the annual Cultus Tours of Ireland. David, very, very welcome.
Thanks very much, Nigel.
Just to remind you folks that we will have a Q&A session at the end of the masterclass, which will be in approximately 40 minutes time, a little bit after 4:30. So, Barry, I'll leave you to it, and we'll see you after the session. Enjoy. Thank you.
Hi, David. How are you?
Good, doing well, doing well.
Good to see you. I wish I was down there in Cork.
with all this time,
Missing you guys.
Yeah, I know it's strange, but it's good that we can still keep going online. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're playing some Rachmaninoff.
That's right. I'm playing a Rachmaninoff Etude in E flat minor, Opus 39, number 5. So
Great.
I'll give it a go.
Looking forward. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Beautiful. So musical. Thank you, David. I like how you paced it very well in the middle section to work up to the recapitulation when the theme comes back in this incredibly glorious way that Rachmaninoff writes.
Yeah.
It was really great. You didn't rush through it. You let us enjoy all the harmonies, which was great. There was just one thing. Did I hear maybe is a misreading, or maybe it's to do with the internet or something? It's the bottom of the second last page. Did you play 2 A flats there at the end?
Where's
Did I hear?
okay, I'll put a second.
Yes, A natural and A flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's useful sometimes. The problem is because the accompaniment is so big and it's only one note, it's the melody. You have to really try and make sure that you contain the chords so it doesn't get too big and overshadow the melody.
Yeah.
And also, when you listen to the long notes, and so when the next melody note happens, it doesn't sound suddenly much louder. Try to make it as long. It's very tough to do, I know. So it's. Because it can sound.
Yeah, I got you, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be careful of that. It's, in fact, because there are so many repeated chords, it doesn't have to be forte. It can be mezzo piano, as long as it keeps going, ba, 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 like in a Tchaikovsky or a Rachmaninoff symphony, when the wind and the horns are ba, 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 as the accompaniment. It's the same kind of thing. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Just try the opening.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
The only thing just to watch out for is when there is a rest in the chords in the left hand, right hand accompaniment, that you don't wait too long. Okay. Don't make the quaver rest too long. It sounds something sometimes like this. Keep going. It should almost, the accompaniment should, as if there isn't a rest, it just continues. Bop, 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 bop.
Okay.
I mean, he's done it because he has to make the melody, you know, audible.
Yeah.
But it also gives a feeling of restlessness, which we need. The whole piece is restless. It never really, even at the end of the last chord, it never comes to a rest. It's da, ba, 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 ba. It's always frantic and yearning and questing for something. And so the rests are really important. But keep the attention and the rest.
Yeah.
Try once again from the beginning.
Go again from the beginning.
Yeah, I like that. That was great, David. Fantastic. Can you prepare going into this next section, choosing a different color?
More of the bass.
Because here's the color at the beginning. Here in this one. Find a different color for the E flat because it's the same melody initially, but the harmonies are going to change.
Yeah, I'll go from the bar before, so
This could be the microphone or the connection, but I do need to hear the changes of the harmony here. All of those low notes.
okay.
The whole progression, that's another theme underneath.
Yeah, I'll try that again.
Maybe I misled you, not to put an accent, but just hear this. Don't put an accent, because it all has to be this contained well of sound that's growing and growing and growing. But it's important that we hear that. But don't put an accent when the note changes.
Okay.
Fantastic, much better. It's very, very clear.
Yeah.
Just be careful when it goes to the different rhythm of accompaniment that it's not suddenly a bit slower.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Don't slow when it changes.
Sure.
You could, if you wanted, on the third line it's marked crescendo. You could come back a little bit again. So here we have this. Next crescendo. Comes down a bit and starts to grow again. And it doesn't get big, truly big, until the fortissimo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keep this crescendo really controlled. Both of the crescendos really controlled. Yeah.
I'll go
Try it. Say it again, please.
Yeah.
Oh, David, be careful of the rhythm.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
you're playing it as a duplet. Listen.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stood there. Yeah.
Think of it more as a melody there. Not so much.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
the little chords are very, very soft.
Yeah, I'll go straight in on that. Sorry, I'm losing. It's the. Yeah.
That was much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay.
Go on to the next bit.
I'll just go from there one more time.
Can you give this? This is a little bit still quite restless. So keep the left hand very, very piano. We don't know what it is. And then suddenly this beautiful melody comes. It's piano, but maybe it's more kind of mezzo piano. Don't neglect this A flat.
Yeah.
Because that produces this longing. Then crescendo. And it's mezzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go again from this section. So.
David, just be careful that it's not a little bit too slow when you get to here. Put all the bars together, put all these octaves together. Keep it being fluid.
Yeah.
And if you want, at the beginning of the next page, you can drop down in dynamic to allow you to crescendo to the fortissimo. So when you get to...
Sure, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because actually with Rachmaninoff often it is a series of little crescendos. It comes back, crescendo a little bit more, come back, crescendo a lot more, come back, and then you come to the climax.
Yeah.
This is not the climax, this one, but it's a small climax along the way. This B major one.
Yeah.
So we just have to, it's like producing a Google Maps, how to get to your local restaurant. So it's, you have to navigate and set it up the right way, and then you get there.
Yeah.
Can you go from the C major?
Yep, sure, yeah. Sorry, yeah,
David,
right.
David,
Yeah.
that was excellent.
Yeah. Good.
The only thing is, don't wait when it goes to mezzo forte. It's immediate. Now this is serious. We don't stop. We keep going until we get back to the tempo primo, back to the theme. It just goes and goes and goes, and now that there's no messing about. Keep going. So when you get to the fortissimo, you know, just keep it going and sweep us along with us, with you. Sweep us along.
Okay, will I go...
Can you go from the top of the page?
I think I might have different pages to you. Is that yeah, okay. So... Sorry, I played too many of the chords at the end, yeah.
No, but that was great.
Yeah.
You pasted
kind of driving
dynamics and the pulse. You did that really, really well.
Yeah.
There's another place where you can drop a little bit.
Okay.
It's the bottom of that left-hand page, that
I see it there.
halfway through the last bar.
Yeah. Where will I go from? One of the B flat chords, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
thing is, this is the triple F. This is the highest point of the whole piece. When you slow down a little bit and you mount up to this triple F, don't wait before you play it.
Oh, just go straight in.
Yeah, well, with the slowing up, with the ritenuto,
Yeah.
that's what gives the tension.
Okay.
So if you wait, then it drops a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I get you, yeah.
Everyone expects,
Yeah.
but don't wait.
Okay.
But do slow down and do crescendo, and then go directly, and it'll take us all by surprise.
Okay. Will I go from just that crescendo?
Wherever you want.
What? From, or maybe from...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. But the crescendo there was okay, yeah?
Yeah, you could have slowed down a little bit more, especially on the last three notes.
Okay. Will I try it one more time?
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay, yeah.
Very good.
Is that okay? Or, yeah?
That's good.
Yeah.
At the top of the page, it starts from the G flat.
Yeah. Okay.
Rather than, yeah, so in not,
Once it goes into the 4, yeah.
yeah, is it the top of the right-hand page?
I have different pages, but I think I know where you're from. So
Oh, yeah, okay. Very nice.
cool.
Well done.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It suits you.
Yeah, I like Rachmaninoff.
It's always
yeah.
a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Cool.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, David, and thank you very much, Barry. Again, wonderful playing, and it's always fascinating, even as a non-piano player, to hear your comments, to hear the insight into the playing of these very, very fine young musicians. So thank you very much, Barry, for being a part of this. David, I wonder, sorry, I beg your pardon, Ella and Luke, I wonder if you'd like to rejoin us momentarily. David, I wonder if you might just switch your microphone off just for a second. I'm just getting a little bit of feedback and echo. Thank you. So, Barry, thank you very much for joining us. We'll have a short Q&A if that's okay. So we might take questions from our participants, maybe in the order that they played. I wonder, Luke, have you anything that you'd like to ask Barry that you didn't address during the course of the masterclass?
Yeah, I drafted up a couple of questions on Blue Roll, which is a sign of the times, really. But most of my questions are kind of related to just the circumstances that we're in now. But it obviously there's, you know, it's troubling times. But I was wondering, have you had any, you know, positive revelations in the time that you've had locked down, or any suggestions for musicians now that you found useful to stay motivated, that kind of thing? But mainly the kind of the positive aspects of it, if any. You may not have any.
It's tough at the moment for musicians and anybody who's in the performing arts, whether it's acting or musicians or even all the backstage staff that are involved in concert halls and theatres, piano technicians. Everybody is suffering. It's a horrible time. I was asked this recently by some students at the Royal College of Music, and it was right at the beginning of the whole thing. And all I can think of is that, you know, it's all very well, let's remain positive. I mean, we all try to do that, and we sometimes fail miserably. But I think we have to remind ourselves, why did we start training and why did we practice all those thousands of hours if we don't love what we do? So we have to, I would say, remember our love and our passion for what we do, and hold on to that, because it will get better. They will find some solution to this thing, and we'll all be back together in the concert hall. But for the moment, we have to find some way of enjoying music. The practical things that you can do, of course, are set yourself some goals, pieces that you've always wanted to learn, or maybe you want to go to Italy, you know, to listen to some concerts or study. So learn Italian or something. Set yourself some tasks. But there's no easy answer to this.
No,
and I think for young people like yourselves, it's especially horrible because you're just starting out, you know, in your life, in your professional lives. And I mean, we people who are a little bit older, we feel for you. We feel for you because, you know, I was your age once, and the whole world was in front of me and all of my fellow students. And we went out, we were in London, I was in Paris as well after that, and life was just great. Life is still great, but it's a little bit on hold at the moment. So don't let go of your passion. Just keep at it. It will get better, but it might take a little while.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Luke, you mentioned you had a number of questions on your role there. Would you like to ask another one?
Well, just on that, I just wondered, was there any kind of repertoire that you reconnected with, or any aspect of music making that stood out to you during these times, or kind of something that you wouldn't have otherwise done if there were no lockdown, but you know, a good thing?
Well, I've really enjoyed, because I come to DIT or TU Dublin Conservatory usually every December, and I go to Cork School of Music 2 or 3 times a year. So that's all on hold, but I've had the good fortune through technology to be able to listen to David, for instance. I haven't been to TU Dublin Conservatory yet, technologically speaking, but David Mooney is hoping to arrange that.
Okay.
So that's been a great inspiration to be able to connect with all of you, and also today is a huge part of that, because that reminds me of when I see your passion, I'm reminded of my passion for music. So that's great. That's one good thing about lockdown.
Yes. Yeah.
Although I'd much prefer to go to Dublin and Cork.
Of course. Of course.
Thank you, Lou. Ella, is there anything that you'd like to ask Barry?
Sure. Barry, do you have any advice for musicians in general who struggle with anxiety? So I found this since the lockdown that I wasn't performing. I did get very anxious about performing, and I've been speaking to some students about this, and it seems to be a common ground. And how would you control that? Because yes, it's very easy to say, oh, just focus, live in the moment, and just play and enjoy playing. But sometimes it only takes 1 second, and I might be lost in the music. So do you have any advice for keeping, grounded and focused?
Well, if ever anybody says to you, before you walk out on stage, do enjoy it, I'll hit them in the face. It's not a question of enjoying it. It's tough. It is tough. So I think that you, of course, as you all are, be very well prepared. But I have found any concerts I've done, well, the first concert I did was the live stream in June at the National Concert Hall. And I find that building up to that, when you're traveling and playing concerts all the time, yes, you want to do it correctly and you do it and you get a little stressed out. But when you haven't played for a while and then suddenly you come out onto the National Concert Hall stage and it's live stream and there's no audience, and it's a pressure. But thank God the National Concert Hall did that, because people like Tara Rocht and I and others had the good fortune to be able to perform again to an audience, even though we didn't see the audience. But so I would say, yes, it is more difficult now because you are not performing or playing as much, and then you suddenly have to do it, and you have to be extra prepared, and you have to have your mind and your focus in the right place. Everybody gets nervous, everybody gets anxious, and if they say they don't get nervous, then they're just lying, I think, or they're made of stone. I remember reading a biography of Pierre Boulez, the French composer, and I adore a lot of his music, and certainly he was a great conductor as well. But I remember he was asked, do you get nervous? He said, no, I don't get nervous because I'm totally prepared. And I thought, I don't know if that's right. I'm sure he does get nervous. So it's okay to be nervous because it does give an extra frisson, it gives an extra impetus. The adrenaline, it's important to have adrenaline, and don't fight it, enjoy it. There, I just said it, enjoy it.
Yeah. And what I'm discovering now at the moment is that excitement and nervousness seems to produce the same effects in the body, but one is negative and the other is positive. So I try now to say to myself, I'm excited to play, I'm not nervous. And there are actually studies about this that I'm going to try to keep it short, but that there were two groups, and the task was to do karaoke. And one group was told to say I'm excited just right before they started doing karaoke, and they had exponentially higher, better results then the group that said I'm nervous and then sang the same exact song in the same exact setting. So I think it's very interesting, but I'm so glad that you said you also get nervous.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was a student, and I said to a fellow student, a pianist also, and I said, God, I get so nervous. And he said, why do you get nervous? You're only ever playing to one person. Because all the people who are listening are not connected. You're only playing to one person. So after that, I decided every time I walk on the stage and I take my bow the first time, I pick somebody and I say, I'm playing to you, and start playing. You're not playing to 2,000 people, you're playing to one person.
That's brilliant.
Try that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And David, anything for Barry?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I'll ask two different questions. They're kind of related and kind of a bit separate. First of all, Barry, what career advice would you give to the three of us and to all young pianists going out into the world in terms of concerts and competitions and recordings and so on? And then the second question is, how do you think we can engage more young people in classical music? Because obviously classical music isn't necessarily seen as cool or anything, you know, in school or whatever. So how do you think that could be sort of changed a little bit, you know?
Sorry, I didn't understand the second question. How do we engage?
How could we sort of make classical music more accessible to young people or seen as more popular or something like that?
Right. In terms of audiences and things like that?
Yeah, in terms of audiences and yeah.
Well, you know, when you play in France and Spain and Italy and certainly in Asia, it's full of young people. I remember I did a concert in Seville in Spain. It was in the Opera House, and I saw lots of children, and you get this in China as well. And you'd see grandparents, parents, and children, and they all went and they sat in a box, you know, at the theatre and watched the concert or the opera. I think it's partly education, it's partly cultural. In Asia, especially in China and also in Japan, you see so many children. It's because their parents bring them. It's a cultural thing where they're impressed by what the West have done, and they have their own classical culture as well, of course. Classical Chinese music is fantastic. But they are eager for their children to learn. So that's on the one hand, but on the other hand it is a question of education, and there has to be music taught in the school. I had 4 hours a week, you know, singing with the choir, and you know, it was compulsory. You had to sing with the choir, and you had free. If you could learn any lesson, any instrument, and you had free lessons. And you learnt all about music and theory and history, and that was part of the curriculum. It isn't like that in this same school I went to. It isn't like that anymore, but not to the same degree. So I think it's education as well. So that's a fundamental thing which has to be. We have to lobby governments for that. But music is way down the list, you know, of subjects in schools, unfortunately. Career advice for your other question. You know, everybody has a gut feeling about what's right. You have to listen to the little person inside you, and they're usually pretty right. If something seems right to do, you do it. If it doesn't quite seem right, don't do it. Competitions are okay, you know, but sometimes they really can destroy the soul. You have to be really pretty tough, because they're kind of, a lot of them are very cutthroat. So just be very careful with competitions. Get lots of advice on the atmosphere of a competition, what the standard is, where it's located, what the jury is like. You know, you ask the questions. And hopefully when we all come out the other end of this pandemic, there will be, I predict, there will be a huge demand for musicians, because people will have been so sick of Zoom and everything's great, but they'll be so sick of it, they'll be dying to go back and hear live music and see a person on a stage. So hope that answers something.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Barry. I actually have a question for you, if that's okay, just something that came to mind when you were speaking. You mentioned the live stream concert that you performed in the National Concert Hall, one of our very first groups of concerts. And I'm delighted that we'll be doing lots more of these, and we've just announced our classical live stream, and we'll be presenting more live stream concerts in classical music throughout the autumn. But you alluded to it slightly, but can you describe a little bit the sort of difference in how it feels as a performer performing a public concert with no visible public, as it would if you were performing to a full concert hall?
Because it was a totally new concept for me, and for, I mean, I know for Tara as well. I talked to her about it before I did mine, and she said her word was daunting. Daunting because it's live. There is an audience somewhere in the ether, but you're looking at an empty hall. So it's daunting. But once you started, it was, I mean, I felt fantastic. I geared myself up and I got really prepared, and I walked out and I said to myself, it's almost like a recording where you make a record in an empty concert hall or an empty studio, and you know someone's going to listen to it eventually. But this, I just said, well, people are out there listening to this, but I'm playing great music, and you know, I feel great to be on a stage again. So the positive aspects of it far outweighed any nervousness about the new concept. But it was really important to do, because I remember when Drogheda had a concert with Fineen and a group of Winds, which was a postponed concert, and you could buy your tickets online. I bought my ticket for €10, and I was so excited. And I got, you know, my glass of wine ready and some cheese, and I sat with my wife and we watched the whole concert, and it was really great, and that is really the way forward for the moment, and it's great that the concert hall's doing that. I know it's going to be tough because everyone's doing the same thing, but the concert hall is such an emblem of artistic excellence and Irish culture that you leading the way from the concert hall is so vitally important for us all.
Well, thank you, and we'll do our very best to live up to the high bar that you've just set for us there, Barry. But thank you very much. And part of obviously what we're doing on an ongoing basis, as well as our concert output, is to keep a strong educational output as well. And that is part of this is this masterclass series, where we bring the very best in Irish performers, and we certainly have done so today with you, Barry. So thank you so much for being a part of this masterclass. I'd like to also thank Luke, Ella, and David for playing so greatly, beautiful playing, and also for engaging all four of you with this online format. And obviously, we hope to be doing masterclasses from the concert hall very soon again. But we do thank you for participating on this occasion. For those of you watching out there, I'd just like to draw your attention to next week's masterclass, which will also be on Thursday, slightly later time. It will be starting at 6:30 p.m. and it will be with the wonderful violinist Mia Cooper. And in something a little bit different to today, Mia will be working with exceptional junior students from each of the three conservatories, CIT, TUD, and the Royal Irish Academy of Music. So we do hope that you will join us again next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Please do keep an eye out on the NCH website and all your social media feeds, etc., for upcoming live stream concerts from the National Concert Hall. And we hope to see you virtually in the short term, and physically, hopefully in the not too distant future. Barry and everyone else, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed this afternoon's masterclass.